business owners, if they just don't understand this simple logic, do you want a W-2 employee or a 1099?
Or do you do a combo like what we do?
Exactly.
So our support staff, our front desk, our people that answer our phone, W-2s, because legally we tell them when to show up.
Yes.
They're supervised, and they have regular hours.
And you set the parameters on how you want them to treat your guests.
Exactly. But then we also hire therapists who are there to complete a specific task, which is a 1099. And they set their own hours because a lot of them
Because they're technically their own boss.
Right.
They actually are not your hire. They are just contracting with you.
Correct. And they come with their own skill set. They come with their own licenses. They come with their own gigs. So for us, that's a perfect fit. Whereas
Now for me, my service providers are still W-2 employees, but I do notice that a lot of times they get disillusioned with having to discuss their hours and things like that, and they decide they want to go off and be what they refer to as a 1099 employee, but they're not. And they don't fully realize all the
gotta pay
ramifications.
their taxes.
They're going to pay their taxes.
Right.
Yep. That my favorite that left, and I adored this person and I wanted her to stay, and so I got really upset when she wanted to go. She was going to go work somewhere else and she was going to make 50%, and I couldn't go higher than 40, and I kept trying to figure out, like, how can this other place afford that? Like, what am I doing wrong? And finally she mentioned something and I realized she was going to be a 1099. I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, I feel better about everything now. I was like, so you do realize you're taking a pay cut, right? And she was like, what? No, I'm going to make 30%. I'm going to make 50%, and I only make 40 here. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to make 30 now. I was like, you know, when you look at your check, Cindy Lou Who, and it says $225 went to the IRS, I also paid $225.
Right.
So
payroll taxes. It's called payroll taxes.
and
You have to pay
your
it.
employer matches it. And so when you go off to be a 1099, you also have to remember that now you pay that whole $450.
Right.
No one's splitting it with you. You need to set that aside every month, or come April 15th, the IRS, they do know your name, they do know where you're at, and it's kind of like that meme that you'll see floating around with the IRS. It says, do you know what I owe you? Yes. Are you going to tell me? No.
No. Well, and the other thing also people don't realize is we're putting towards the medical deductible, like the medical that
Social
everybody
Security.
has, Social Security, medical. We're putting all that. That's why the payroll taxes are as high as they are. It goes to lots of different buckets. But when you get a check and you're a 1099, you are your own business. You have chosen to essentially be your own business and be responsible for all of that.
I think so many of them just don't even fully realize that.
Well, until the
IRS comes knocking. Up until then, they're just like, oh, I just want to make more money, more money, more money. And it's like,
are you really? And
you're not making more money.
And I think it takes a few years before it kicks in for a lot of people and a lot of experience. So, so you as a business owner, and then you as a person coming to work for someone else's business, both sides, you both have to make that decision on what is going to be best for you. And sometimes you just got to sit down and do the math.
Math is hard.
Wow.